Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Lyft sharing session. My name is Luis Aviles. This is our fourth sharing session. For those who don't know, Lyft is a development program of Person IT, where we want to develop our talent and our culture. And sharing sessions are a space for Person IT peers to share some knowledge or some experience about any topics, so we can know more about each other and about what others are interested on, and we can become a community at Person IT. And in this occasion, I'm very happy to be with Basilio. We are from the same hometown, so I'm very happy to be with you. He will present about a topic that is very interesting and that we all should know about, that is data analytics. Basilio, with no more delay, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everybody, for connecting. Thank you, Luis Aaron, for such a good presentation, right? Introduction, sorry. And today we are going to talk about data analytics, which is something that many people know about, but they don't know that this is a hallmark, or this is a part of the basis of the foundations of digitalization today. And it's very important for us to know about that topic as in process IT. Just a quick disclaimer: I am not part of the data analytics organization in CEMEX. I'm really part of the project and delivery and execution area that it's being led by Ricardo Vasquez. But I had some previous experience, and I'm a active member of many organizations regarding data analytics. Just a brief introduction of who am I, right? My birthday is in April 24th. My favorite food is pastries, especially Spanish and feta pastries. And my passion is business transformation and change. I have 4 daughters, ages 2 to 8, and I've been married for 9 years. So as you may know or think about, I'm a very busy person, right? And believe it or not, I'm not 50 years old, right? So I'm within the program management, supply chain global network, and that's my current role in CEMEX. Just to start us, there are two big trends right now that are fueling digitalization, especially also data analytics, right? We are in a threshold, we are in the middle of being able to have smarter and faster collaboration fueled by declining cost of data storage. You can see here a graph of what is happening, or what happened with the cost of DNA sequencing. As you know, there are several businesses right now giving service to learn about DNA. You send $21, something like that, into some of those companies, and they can give you all of your DNA sequence, right? This is a new service. It's been maybe 5 years, 4 years in the making. But as you can see, this cost has been behaving well above Moore's law. Everyone, as you may know, Moore's law is the law that has been behind the computer processing power that we have been experiencing since the late 60s up until today. But with all of the different advances that we have right now, our innovation, or our way of putting cost into what we are producing in the internet, right? And with data analytics has been dropping in a rate much more faster than expected. And you can see that from 2001, the DNA sequencing was about below $10 million. And right now, as of July, this is a report that you can go and check out, right? It's now well about $100 to do that, right? So it's very interesting. This is a disruption in the way that we are doing things, right? And we should be all aware of that huge thing that is happening right now. And this is not just for DNA sequencing. This is just an example of how changes are accelerating, right?
Basilio, just a quick comment that I forgot. We will have a space for one or two questions. So you will see below there is a space for you to put any question that you may have for Basilio.
Yes, and there's also a trend right now with these trends about storing and also processing data, and we are right now also getting into cheap sensors, right? The way that the machine generated data is behaving, it's growing in an exponential way. Compared to the business data or the transactional data that the businesses are accustomed to be having, right? And also all of the social data, the human data that is going into the internet is also growing at an exponential rate, 10 times faster than the data that we have on the business. And this is right now really evident in the financial markets. For example, right now, a trader in Wall Street is not capable by himself, right, to really spot the opportunities that come about the market. And right now, Wall Street is really subject to AI and machine learning and data analytics for them to be able to trade at the pace that we're having right now. So this is also something that affects us in CEMEX. Why? Because it's going to be there's going to be a time really near that we will also need that kind of aid for us to process the data and coming to the opportunities that we need out of the market. So this is something also important for us to understand. You can see also below the link where you can see the data behind the graph that I'm just showing, right? So this is a foresight. This is something I'm going to be futuristic right now. It's a trend. We have a signal right now that a change is coming also into business. Up until now, we have been based our strategies and globally, right? Not in CEMEX, but all of the businesses. Most of them are based on two different principles. The one that has been given to us by Bruce Hansen, at which we talk about economics of mass production. As time passes, as experience and volume passes, the businesses are capable to optimize on cost, right? This is something that is a tenet. It's been right now with us since the 80s. And also, Michael Porter that talks about the value chain, right? That we tend to integrate vertically, right? And these two tenets have been in place since the 70s, 80s, and with all of these changes coming into place, especially an example is Amazon, an example is all of those industries that have been industrializing the internet, right? A chip is coming into business. You can also know about this topic in detail if you go into TED and go find a talk by Philip Evans, right? This all what I'm talking about is something that you are going to see in detail there. So we're shifting from a vertical integration of the business onto a horizontal business ecosystems, right? And what this means is that we are going to be more and more having platforms as Amazon, middle integrators, right? And then your competitors are going to be at the end. We are going to integrate small players into the market in order for us to have a service. You can think about this as Amazon. They have a platform. They don't do all of the activities. They use middle players as, I don't know, FedEx or something like that, and they sell products out of small companies, right? But that platform is growing into that's really a way to integrate the business. Another way is Uber, right? Uber is a platform. They integrate maybe fleet, right, from someone, and then they integrate some drivers rent those vehicles, and that's the way they are integrating. So right now we are going to see that trend into business. It's going to be accelerated as we talked about. And it's very important also for us to know about where we are heading into business. So we have the costs that are performing in a more accelerated way than the Moore's law. We also have data that is going to be available, which is going to be different as the data that we are accustomed right now. Today we are only accustomed to the transactional data, the data that is in SAP, the data that is in our systems. But more and more often, we are going to go and try to integrate that data from all sources into the business, right? And that is going to be enable us to go into horizontal business ecosystems, right? So this is a quote by Bill Gates. It's within a book that he wrote called The Business at Speed of Thought, right? And he it tells us that analytical software is the one that's going to enable us to be more human to our customers, right? It's not going to be the other way around. It's going to be that these softwares are going to enable us to be more human, to have a more human touch with customers and have a relationship that is one-on-one, right? He's been also working with this theory of this way of working right now with his projects in the Melinda and Bill Gates organization that he's right now leading. And he's using this approach to end polio, for example, in Africa, right? And he's also used this approach in an analytical way to start to tackle all of the different problems that he's been seeing right now. You can see that in a Netflix series that you can go right now and see. It's called Inside Bill Gates' Brain. And you're going to see that he is all into predicting the future. And all of the things that he does is based on analytics, right? So it's very interesting to see how he's using this to solve important problems. Going to the digitalization and the digital transformation, we see that we have three different columns or different pivotal areas or dimensions into digital transformation. You have the digital infrastructure, you have digital operations, and then you have digital customer engagement. So you need to go about and take care of all of these different dimensions. But one of the infrastructure or the basis of this is data analytics. So that's why it is very important for us that we know about this topic, that we not only know about its implications, but also try to use that in our daily lives, right? Up until now, we have been using analytics, for example, in statistics that we use to understand our processes, right? We use average, we use standard deviation, we use all of those different things in statistics that we understand by Six Sigma and Lean and all of those certifications and all of those things that we are doing. But now with the explosion of data, we need to also think about other types of things in order for us to do data analytics. Right? So what is data analytics? It's using information available to you to gain insight, improve processes, and predict the future trends. So what we are trying to do in this point is to from becoming people experts in something to become people focused on learning. What all of this complexity gives us is that we need to change our mindset from just trying to be experts at everything to be open into learning things and learn with data and learn with different avenues of information that come to you and using software analytics in order for us to process the things really fast in order for us to go about and take the opportunities that are there for us, right? So it's about better decision making, it's about predictive analytics, and it's about pattern discovery. And just to go about and put it into people, I really love to talk about people, you know, because I love business transformation and change. Data analytics is a convergence of three things. It's a conversion of engineering, it's a conversion of science and also design. Without those three, this is not something that could be an opportunity or a competitive advantage for us. So we have the convergence of those three things into analytics. So we need to know about linear algebra and statistics, right? Right up until now, as a operations research intensive company in CEMEX, we have people that really understand statistics. We need to go about that and learn about linear algebra, which is the basis for data science, right? And we also need to know about data visualization and communication. We have a really good area that here in CEMEX that is led by Aldo, right? And we need to start communicating with data in a better way amongst all processing IT. And also we have the programming and database, which also we have a good team there with Mantilla and team that really know about data engineering and data architecture, right? And also we have the data scientists led by with Jose Luisa Podaca, right? And they are the geniuses behind the algorithms, right? But if we want to go about and really exploit or really use this new way of working, we also need data translators, which is that mainly are maybe coming from a business with a business evolution services led by SNET, right? At which they analyze. They are the translators between the business and the data champions and the data architects and the data scientists. So we have the people in place. We need to work together, and we need, but we all in different areas. We need to understand what it takes in order for us to converge those three lines of business, right? We have engineering, science, and design. They need to talk to each other in order for us to go beyond what we're doing right now. So, an example. This is just a disclaimer, right? This is an example. It has nothing to do with political alliances or nothing like that. But it was really an example of what not to do in a business or in a service. Came about posters, intuition, and biases when they say about chance of winning in the elections, right? Everybody gave Hillary Clinton the upper hand, but what they didn't understand the dynamics behind the process, right, of getting elected a president, and also because most of the posters were rooting for Hillary, they didn't take care about the biases that they had in order for them to not discard, right, the evidence that was there, right? And although some posters, which were minimal, gave a chance to Donald Trump, as a whole, the whole industry was rooting for Hillary Clinton. They were mistaken about thinking about popular vote as the way to win the White House, when actually the process is quite different, right? So this is a clear example of how they didn't the convergence of engineering, science, and design didn't really work. They didn't use this in order to understand what was this process, right? So it's a huge mistake that they did. Hillary Clinton didn't go about strategizing the way that she did, that she needed to do, and was one of the reasons why she lost to Donald Trump, right? So talking about data. Now we have been solely thinking about internal unstructured and internally structured data in the way that we are working, right? But there's also machine data and external data that comes together in a data analytics project, right? And you need all of those different data sources, whether they're structured or unstructured, to really understand decision making and predicting the future. So this is something that we need to understand, right? So data it has different states, right? It's on volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value, no? So in order to exploit this data, you really need to understand both and manage those two in order for us to create value. If you don't do that, it's something that is going to go against data analytics. Why? Because right now, there's a survey that has been right now published that only 30% of data initiatives reach completion, and only of those 13%, 8% provide a result to the business. So, and that's mainly because they don't understand about the data, they don't understand about the process. So there is a huge lessons learned that we can use about these results, right? So in order for us to capture value from data, we need to have trust data. We have to trust on the reports that have come from our systems. We have to trust our systems, and then we can move to automation or data analytics, right? So it's a whole process that we need to do in order for us to really have those results that we want to do. We don't want to have only 30% completion and 8% of satisfied business. We need to go and understand that this is a convergence of a lot of things, right? So the lessons learned from data analytics in B2B businesses, right, is data is a company asset. It's not something that just is on IT servers or outside our service providers. It's very important for business to own and to prioritize those business use cases. And after you have that, you need to realize that data science is not the only component of data analytics. It's really about change management in order for us to have a real change, right? Also, collaborating with universities and external experts, it will improve your chances of innovation. You need to design and implement an optimal layer of data governance. It's very important to have data governance in companies. And you also need to automate and integrate the way that you monitor quality efforts, data quality efforts. So these are the lessons learned from those experiences of failure on those other companies, right? So right now, maybe people is really accustomed to go about looking for new business models, to open new channels of business. But what we have realized this year with that survey that you see right now is that 40% of all the monetization that we come from data analytics really comes from process improvement. So it's something also to think about, right? So just to wrap up, right? We have that we need to convert data into opportunities for growth, innovation, and competitive advantage. And as we move forward in each of the different layers of data analytics, we create more value. We have data analytics, which is to describe what has happened. We have diagnostics, which is mainly to explain our customer segmentation. Then we will move about to predictive analytics with demand forecasting, for example, and then prescriptive side of data analytics. So, what I want you to do after this webcast is to go into Degree, read the sharing material that we have published there, right? I curated this information for you. And this will, if you go about and learn about this, it will give you a competitive edge in organization. Then I would like you to go to explore more about data analytics by interacting with your data scientists here in the company. Also go about and look for social networks and groups and meetings about data analytics to expand your horizons. And I would really love to see that you work on your own cool project in showcases and on social media. So please go about doing that. You will see that it will help you a lot in your career, and hopefully it's going to be something that you are going to cherish. So this is more about me, right? I am a lifter. I might not be your data scientist or your data expert, but I have a master's degree in decision science. I am part in Montreal of the data science and engineering chapter, and I have a credential on machine learning. So I know about more or less about this kind of things, and I hope that this has helped you to understand more about data analytics.
Well, thank you a lot, Basilio. I think that's a very good presentation for anyone to know more about data analytics. We have some questions. I think we have time for them. First, Daniela Nieto, thank you for your question, Dani. What is the biggest challenge you've faced in CEMEX when trying to implement data analytics initiative? Do you know?
Yes, the most important thing is to have a sponsor, a business sponsor. So I'm going to steal something from Orlando Valencia that he told me when we on our last meeting with lifters, right? You need to go and talk to your business leaders and talk about the problems that they face or they see they have on the business. So after you learn about the problems that your business leader has, your manager, right, and you see an opportunity for data analytics, please go about and learn about that and try to solve that problem. It's not really that difficult to learn about statistics and data science. You just need to learn about R. It's something that is free, right? Python is also an application that is free. So, and there's a lot of information outside. So the first thing you need to do is not to push technology. You need to understand what are the business challenges, go about and research and come with your business leader and try to coordinate with him and give him an offer of how you can solve that problem. We as lifters and in process IT, we need to play the role of consultants, whether we are internal or external employees. And that's the way to do it, to really get interested about the problems that CEMEX has with your manager, with your leaders, and try to solve those problems. As Homero Resendez said on a recent interview, there are a lot of geniuses in CEMEX, right? We only need to care about CEMEX, try to learn about the problems, and try to solve those problems together with the business.
Thank you, Basilio. One more question before we go, also from Danny. How do you coordinate efforts with Global Analytics Department in order to avoid duplicate efforts, but can also work in data analytics?
Well, you need to, what I've done is that, for example, in my case, I worked with Arnulfo Guevara into using Power BI to generate some metrics about the projects that we have, right? And he with his project leaders, he met with Carlos Mantilla's team, the data architects, and also with the team of data analytics, and they went forward into having metrics related to the problems that we had. So it's to go about and asking the questions and not try to work on silos, yes, but rather to work together, collaborating between the different areas that we have in CEMEX.
Okay, thank you, Basilio. Well, it's about time. Thank you everyone for attending this sharing session. All the materials will be available at SharePoint and the grid. We also want to mention that this is the last sharing session of the year. And also we would like to know if you would like to participate and share any topic. If that's the case, we will be very happy to have you here as Basilio today. So please let us know what kind of topic would you like to share, and we will be in touch. So,
but don't forget to go into the grid and learn more about this topic. You will see that in the sharing chat session material
Yes.
under 4, right?
We will send a follow-up email. Thank you, Basilio, and thank you everyone for being of this part of this sharing session, an opportunity for us to know more about our peers and connect with each other. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.